Week 16 is done. Week 17 is upon us. We talk about the three Monday night games, which all three of them were really important in some way. Hope everybody had a nice holiday. Hope you had a fun holiday. Talk a little bit about also the Pistons on this crazy losing streak. And we know how we do. We touch on a little bit of a personal topic. Let's get it. All right. Monday night was interesting, man. We had some games. They went down, and man, they were huge. They were huge. We ended in week 16 with a bang. First of all, the Raiders beating the Chiefs. Like like what? Like the Raiders out here playing, man. They out here playing. But I think obviously the big concern in this game was the Chiefs offense and how kind of stale they look. I just feel like they've been kind of haven't been playing themselves, like playing like themselves all season. So I'm not surprised. Well, they've been struggling, but I didn't think that like the Raiders will have a not say they wouldn't have a chance in that game, but I didn't think they'd win that game like that. I'm not surprised they kept it close. Um, Even though the Raiders obviously have been struggling, they technically still have a shot at the playoffs. It's a stretch, but they have a shot. But the Chiefs' offensive struggles have been really uh it's been really honestly, I think it's been more than just the receivers. We've seen the receivers, they've been dropping balls all season and all that stuff. The Chiefs just don't look like themselves. They don't look like the Chiefs of old. And maybe it's just time catching up with them. Not to say, like everybody on their team's old, but we always have those teams that kind of hang around for like 5 6 years. They're always like in the playoffs. They've been in and out of the Super Bowl, or they're always one of the top teams in the league every year in and year out. And I think it's been what, about 7 years for like the Chiefs. I feel like they've been, if not the best team, or at least in like the top like five of the best teams in the league. And I will say I do love the balance. I love the balance this year with all the teams. And because of the other game in this week, I think this whole thing is wide open, especially for the NFC. We'll get on that later. But the Chiefs' offensive struggles have been kind of happening all season. Um, they'll get in the playoffs. They just won't probably have a home game because I think if Baltimore gets another dub this week, they'll officially lock up the 1 seed, I believe. And Miami's still second. Both of those teams have clinched playoff spots in the AFC. Um, I believe the Chiefs will still win their division. I think they'll be fine as far as that's concerned. But they have other concerns. They're a championship, or I feel like they're a Super Bowl bust team. I think they've kind of obviously established that through the years, and that's why I've always respected it. I know people like weren't fans of like Tom Brady and the Patriots, and they had their cheating scandal, all that stuff. But you got to give them respect. Like the Patriots always, and I was never one of those people who hated the Patriots or Tom Brady. Do I feel like he was a little bit of a crybaby? Maybe, but as far as him as a player, no, I had no hate towards that man. And the longevity of people like the Patriots and all the Super Bowls they won from what, like whenever they won their first one, like 2000 to whatever. Um, Having that sustained longevity is it's hard in sports, especially in team sports. Um, because obviously there's so many moving parts, there's so many moving pieces. So for any team to kind of sustain that for over 5 years, I think you have to give them respect. Obviously, you think of people like through the time, obviously the Patriots and like the Lakers, of the Warriors, the Chiefs, like all those teams like that. They've had like their 5 6 year run when they're just like always in the playoffs. Oh, the Spurs. That's another team I think doesn't get any respect when it comes to like longevity and how long they've sustained. So it's weird to honestly, it's weird to see the Spurs struggle now. Um, and also, I don't think Tim Duncan gets enough love for what he did for the Spurs and him as a Hall of Famer and one of the great players of our time of the NBA history. Period. Um, because he wasn't flashy, but he just went and did his job and got it done. Okay, I'm getting sidetracked. I have a tendency to do that. Sometimes I kind of ramble, but you get what I'm saying. Like those teams like that, those teams that kind of always were, they always hang around. They're always one of some of the best teams in the league, season in, season out. And I just feel like the Chiefs are kind of starting to maybe be on the decline. So it didn't surprise me that they lost. It was kind of the way that they lost. I think that was more telling. And they've had a rough season. At least the last like couple months have been really rough for the Chiefs. I believe, who do they play? I do not know who they play next week. Let's check it real quick. The Chiefs play the Bengals on Sunday. Division game. They also end the season against the Chargers the week after. Uh, Obviously, I think it's winnable. I believe they win this game. They pretty much lock up their division. But obviously, they have bigger problems and bigger stresses to worry about as far as, getting their offense together. They're going to probably play some road games this time. They'll get their one home game, obviously, because they won the division. But they're going to have to be on the road. They haven't been on the road in the playoffs, I don't think, ever. They've always been home. It's always gone through Kansas City. So that should be interesting. That'll be interesting. The Eagles beating the Giants. Obviously, I didn't. No one. I think no one's surprised that the Eagles won. But you gotta give the Giants a little credit here. They stayed in this game. They stayed in this game. Remember at halftime, and I looked at the score. I'm like, okay, I think it's probably gonna pretty much blow them out. It was what, like 20-3, and then they had that weird fumble that happened on the kickoff. Like the guy pushed the other guy into the kick returner, and they fumbled. It was kind of weird. The whole play was weird. I was like, that's very like butt fumble like territory. Everybody remembers the butt fumble, but the Eagles pulled out the win. I just feel like they're gonna take our division, and to be honest, I don't think we deserve it. The Cowboys. I just don't think we deserve the division after the way we've played the last couple weeks, coming obviously getting blown out by the Bills, losing to the Dolphins. I don't think we deserve the division. The Eagles have sustained who they are for most of the season. Obviously, the last like month has been rough for them, but it's reasons like that why I say this thing is wide open, especially in the NFC, because of the last game of the night, Ravens versus Niners. Brock Purdy throws 4 picks. He literally has probably his worst game as a starter, and the Niners didn't look great. They didn't look great. The other night. The score was 33-19. They kind of scored like a late touchdown. That game was over by like mid third quarter. That game was pretty much over. But man, 4 picks. I didn't expect him to throw 4 picks. But shout out to the Ravens defense. People need to start giving Ravens their respect. I just need them to make a good playoff run, and I think that's what everybody wants. Everybody wants Lamar. If I had to pick a team to get to the Super Bowl in the AFC, it's the Ravens. I've always been a fan of Lamar Jackson. I think he doesn't get enough respect, enough love for what he does, and everybody sees him being this running quarterback and doesn't give him credit for him being a good passer. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't think he gets enough love for that. So for me, if I had to pick a team that wasn't the Cowboys to win this thing, I want Baltimore to win it. Just because Lamar Jackson, especially everything that happened with his contract this past offseason, looked like he wasn't going to even sign back. They signed him last minute, and he comes and plays, and he's playing at an MVP level. So I'm rooting for the Ravens, 100% rooting for the Ravens here. But let's get into this week 17 games. The Thursday game, it's Jets-Browns. Browns are favored by 7. Probably going to go with the Browns. Now, Saturday, sorry, I kind of just skipped over that. I don't think that game really matters too much. But the Lions-Cowboys, it's going to be interesting. We play at 8. It's going to be on ABC, ESPN, and all that stuff. We're favored by 6. It's us. It's our last home game of the regular season. Probably going to be our last home game of the season. in general because we're probably gonna have to go on the road in the playoffs. Um, I think we need this game to establish ourselves again to get back to what we have been doing all season. Last 2 weeks have been a disaster, especially the Bills game more than anything. Even starting off last game, we had that good drive and fumbled it on a one. That sucked. Um, so, and there's obviously other problems, but um, we need this game. We need this game. The Lions have their division clinched, but with the standings the way it is, and with San Fran losing, I believe the Lions still have a chance at the 1 seed. Yeah, they're third in the NFC. Everybody's 11-4. Everybody's 11-4. The Niners get the tiebreaker because of their win percentage in conference games. So, but everybody's 11-4. The top of that, we all thought it was going to easily go through San Francisco, but who knows? Things can get kind of crazy here the last couple weeks. These last couple weeks are going to be really important. But Sunday on the 31st, which is New Year's Eve. That's what it is, right? New Year's Eve. I don't know why I just kind of blanked there. But yeah, New Year's Eve, Bills Patriots. The Bills should win this one. They're favored by 12. But the Patriots have been playing solid these last few weeks. They haven't been playing terrible. So that's going to be a little bit of a fight division game. You know how that be. Bears, Falcons. Falcons need this one, obviously. Still fighting for the South. I'm gonna go with the Falcons in this one. It's gonna be in Chicago. But I'm gonna go with the Falcons. We got Raiders, Colts. The Raiders they've been looking like I believe Antonio Pierce has been their coach. So they're trying to fight for my man Antonio to possibly be their coach for next season because then they like fire their coach or something. I don't know. I don't pay attention to the Raiders that much. No disrespect, but I just don't. But this is gonna be I think this is gonna be a fun game to watch because there's two teams. Colts are still fighting for the playoffs. And then obviously the Raiders to have a outside shot to make the playoffs. So, but I'm gonna go with the Colts, but barely. I don't think it's gonna be game could literally go either direction. I don't wouldn't be shocked at either way. Rams Giants, go with the Rams. The Giants, even though like I said, they've been kind of fighting, keeping in games late in the year. And these games like this are the tricky ones for teams that are like trying to get in the playoffs versus teams that aren't in the playoffs. It's like, or in a playoff race, like those teams that aren't in a playoff race, they're going to be, they're fighting for jobs, they're fighting for roster spots, like, and all that stuff. So they come out and play a little bit more tougher. But I'm going with the Rams in this one. Cardinals, Eagles. Now, this one's going to be interesting. I think the Eagles should win this one easily, but another team that's just not in it. And pretty much just probably most of the players are there just fighting for just to be seen. You know what I'm saying? So, Saints Bucks. This is gonna be a huge one. Buccaneers are leading the division right now. They're 8-7. Saints are 7-8. I'm gonna go with the Bucks in this one. They're favored by 3. I'm gonna go with the Bucks in this one. I like the Bucks. 49ers, Commanders. 49ers should bounce back in this. I don't see them not. They're favored by 13. Panthers, Jaguars. Jack, this is another situation of Jack should win this one, but we've had some crazy games lately, so nothing really is set in stone. But the Jacks should win that. It's in Jacksonville. They're favored by 6.5. So I'll go with Jacksonville. Jacksonville. Dolphins, Ravens. This is probably the biggest game of the week as far as playoff seedings. Both of these teams are in the playoffs officially, but I believe I feel like if the Ravens win this game, because they're 12-3, the Dolphins are 11-4. If the Ravens win this game, they probably have the AFC. It's gonna go through Baltimore, which is gonna be cool and it's gonna be interesting to see. B-Moore's got a nice home crowd. I've always liked Baltimore Ravens home games. The energy just feels crazy there. I'm going Baltimore in this one. The Dolphins did struggle against us last week offensively. It was like neither team could really score last week in the Cowboys-Dolphins game. At least score like we're both accustomed to. I think everybody probably thought that was going to be a shootout. I think I even said it, that it was going to be a shootout. like 30, 40 points for each side, and it's just big play after big play, and that didn't happen. It was a lot of field goals for both teams in that Cowboys Dolphins game, but I'm gonna go with the Ravens in this one. Titans Texans, another game that's really well. I will say the Titans just. I mean, the Texans are still fighting for playoffs. They're the AFC right now. I'm not sure if Stroud's playing, but I'm still going with the Texans here. Steelers Seahawks. Seahawks. I don't know why I'm saying it like it's so easy. They both are 8-7. They're both still in the playoff chases. Um, but I'm gonna go with the Seahawks in this one. To be honest, I can barely name anybody that's on the Steelers offensive roster. I mean, obviously we know Watt, but I honestly don't know anybody on their team, which is crazy because the Steelers have always been one of those teams. They were another team that was always around, always sustaining, always in the playoff chase, and it's kind of weird to see them kind of like be like average, like you know what I mean. So, but I'm gonna go with the Seahawks here. They're at home. We got Chargers, Broncos. Go with the Broncos. The Broncos should bounce back. They have been kind of disappointing me the last few weeks, which kind of made me sad because I was rooting for the Broncos, man. I believe they still have a chance at the playoffs. They should. They're 7-8, but I think they bounce back in this one. They get the dub. Let's see. We got Bengals Chiefs. This game's gonna be interesting because obviously the Chiefs have been struggling. They're favored by 7. The Bengals are still like another team that's still like fighting for a playoff spot. Right now they're in 10th. They're 8-7. There's so many teams 8-7 in the AFC. But I want to go with the Chief boys because I mean it's the Chiefs. We know how they be. They could be trash where we could turn up the next. But I'm gonna go with the Chiefs in this one. Barely. I'm gonna go with the Chiefs. They're favored by 7 though. And then the Sunday night game, Packers Vikings. Both teams are 7-8. Are they? I believe both teams are kind of technically still in the playoff race. Yeah, Minnesota's 8th, and the Packers are 10th. They're both 7-8. Both teams need this game. It's a complete toss up. The Vikings didn't play terrible last week. I did say my little theory with Mullins is just like that guy, just how he just chucks up the ball half the time. But you got a weapon like Jefferson. I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all. But I think if I'm not mistaken, I think I saw that Hawkinson is out for the season. He tore his like ACL, MCL. So that's yeah, he's torn his ACL and MCL, which is kind of crazy. But I'm still might go with the Vikings because the Packers have kind of disappointed me too. I expected them to kind of, this is life without, Favre. I was about to say Favre. Shit, my brain took me back. Life without Rodgers. Jordan Love has played solid this year. I'm not gonna lie. They've as a whole, the Packers have played solidly, especially obviously with losing Aaron Rodgers. Somebody like Aaron Rodgers, a Hall of Fame quarterback. But like, I feel like they could have been playing better this time of year. But I'm gonna go Vikings. I'm gonna go Vikings. I think they're gonna bounce back from that close loss they had last week. I just want to kind of touch on these Pistons, man. 27 straight losses. They're 2-28. Like, I'm sorry. As a player, if I'm a coach, it's gotta be so deflating. It's gotta be so deflating to like, and it's not like they've been kind of. If I'm looking at their, well, sorry, if I'm looking at most of their games, I mean, at least they haven't really. Well, I mean, there's been a couple blowouts, but at least like the last like 4 to 5 games, they haven't really been getting like crushed. They're putting up the points. They put up 100 points easy. Like, and it's just like I feel like it's kind of the league now where everybody could score like crazy. But it's like crazy, man. It's crazy. 2-28. Like what? Like anybody that comes in, man, in the arena, like as far as like staff and players, like I commend them because like I would be so just like I don't want to go to work today. Like man, 27 straight losses, 27. They lost to the Brooklyn Nets last night. Their next game is against Boston, so that's probably not going to get better. So, but yeah, I'm rooting for them to get a dub somewhere. They play against the Celtics tomorrow. If they win, we'll obviously talk about it. If they don't, we'll probably talk about it again on Friday. But man, that's gotta be crazy to kind of walk into it. Just like every day, it's just like here we go again. It's just like another loss, another loss. But we'll take a little break here. I'll talk about something a little different. Well, kind of different, but something that a couple people have asked me before, and I kind of want to just give my opinion on it. Stay tuned. All right, we're gonna talk about a little bit of a personal topic. Um, Coming out. It was one of the things that I'll be 35 next week. Well, not next week, the week after. And I didn't come out till I was around 30. And I remember growing up, so I was attracted to men and women. And it wasn't like my family was against it or anybody around me was against it. Or nothing like that. They were, there's plenty of people in my family who are, in same sex relationships and all that stuff, which is obviously completely fine. I obviously have no problem. But I think it was more for me, when I came out. And I tell people all the time who like are like, how are you so comfortable with, yourself and yada yada, and it's like at least in that situation I am. I think I've gotten it over the years to be comfortable about it. I tell people all the time, do it on your own terms. Don't just do it because it's a trend. I know there are times when people are kind of forced, um, but you have to do it for yourself. And I think that's what was the biggest thing for me, was doing it for me. I came out as bisexual, like I said, when I was around 30, and honestly, I don't know if it was the people I had around me. I was starting to just kind of get into the whole streaming world and all that stuff. And um I had people who were just, you know, happy with me being me and comfortable with me being me. And I think I felt comfortable enough to just be like, I'll just say it. I don't think it was a shock to a lot of people that I grew up with. Um I was always kind of a tomboy. I still am. I haven't worn a dress since my prom in 2007. I've always been like into sports and video games. I always hung around a lot of guys. Like it wasn't I don't think it was shocking to anybody that I came out. But I did it for me. I felt so much better after that. And I was definitely way more open as far as like relationships and stuff go with people. And I think I got more open with people just personally, like, just like my friends or just like, anybody in my life. Got a little bit more open with things. And I think it's huge because it's like it's a big part of just like who you are and your mental health. And that's why I always like just take your time, come out when you can. Um I do have a lot of friends now who are very, very open with who they are. And I love them. They know who they are. And I love them to death because of that. Um, but I just kind of wanted to touch on that because it's something that I think is definitely a part of me now. Uh, and I've been kind of open to it, open with it as far as who I am. I think I've definitely I've gotten obviously really comfortable, and it's nice. It's nice to just like go into it, and things like Pride Month come around, and it's always nice to kind of I've always wanted to go to one of those Pride events. I've never been able to, and I'm hopefully will at some point soon. But just like being comfortable in my own skin is something that I've always struggled with, whether it's my size or whether like because I'm a big girl, and either my height, because I was, even as a kid, I was always like one of the tallest people in the class, not even just like one of the tallest girls. Like I was always one of the tallest people in my class, so it always made me feel a little different, a little awkward. But I will say that I as much as I still kind of struggle with There's times I don't like looking at my face, or there's times when, like I get a little facial hair and it kind of makes me feel weird, and all that stuff. And all that stuff is obviously, I think we all with deal with things about ourselves that we don't like that everybody else loves. And you're like, I hate that. Like, we all deal with it. Like, my voice has been something else that's been something I've been trying to get comfortable with, because to most people, I talk to people, or even when the people see me in person, they think I'm a guy. And I'm to a point where I honestly don't care. And I was like, there's worse things you can call me than to, me to get misgendered. I am a woman. I know what I am. Um but like, I don't care when people, like, the people around me get upset more than I do. Of like, she's not a guy, she's a girl. And I try to tell them, like, it's not that big of a deal. Like, it literally isn't. And there's people sometimes that will talk to me, and they'll be like, and I'll tell them that I'm a woman, and they'll be like, "Oh, I'm sorry," and they're apologizing. I didn't mean to offend you, and I'm like, "You're fine. Genuinely, you're fine." I was like, I get this on a daily basis, so it's not even that. It's not even that serious. But I do respect that they want to respect me and pronouns and all that stuff, because it is important. I hate when people just feel like, "Oh, I'm not gonna call you this because you're this, and I know you don't know what anyone is. It's not your choice to just judge someone because of that." Um, but yeah, like, I've that's something I've been trying to get comfortable with, is my voice. And it's still a little bit of a struggle. Like, it's hard for me to listen to these back. Sometimes I go through them and listen to them back. Um, but yeah, my sides is something. I've always been a big girl. My aunt was. Speaking of them, sidebar. It's their birthday today. It's December 27th right now. They would have been 59. Sadly, they're both not here anymore. Um, but I dearly miss them. They both were confident in their own skin. They probably had the things they stressed about and felt insecure about, but they never really showed it. And I miss both of them dearly. But like, I just, my size is something that I've always kind of been insecure about. Um, I have some health problems. I'm a diabetic. Also, I have high blood pressure, and it's like, and a bunch of mental health stuff. That's a whole other thing. But I've been at least trying to take control of that, if anything. Um, my insulin's down. I take insulin, so my blood sugar's down to a normal level now, which is nice, because I would wake up and my blood sugar would be like 400 or 500 just from waking up, and I'm like, this isn't right. And um, I was like, something's wrong here. Like, I need to take something. I've been a diabetic for a while. I just had never took anything for it. When I went into the hospital this past June, I mean, I keep saying June, past July, this summer, um, they ended up giving me insulin. They were giving me insulin there the few days I was in the hospital, and they gave me insulin when I came home. So, like, my blood sugar's down to around between 1 and 150 on most days. I've been trying to watch my sugar intake and things that I eat. So I've been definitely uh, trying to be more active. I am under 400 pounds for the first time in a long time. The highest weight was 460. I'm down to 370. I think the last time I went to the doctor, I checked. Um, I've just been, like, obviously, just cutting back on sweets, sodas. I still drink here and there, but I had kind of stopped cold turkey when I found out I was a diabetic. But when I had COVID 2 years ago, it was like when I came back home, I was craving soda. Like, I really wanted, like, sweet stuff. So I kind of am drinking it again, but not nowhere near as I was before. And to be honest, like, I'll have a soda maybe within a month. Like, I'll buy me like a Dr. Pepper or something here and there, or Pepsi. It's not like an everyday thing, but nonetheless, I still do drink it. Like I said, it's not as heavy, nowhere near. Um, but I'm just trying to take care of myself. I have a lot of people who like are always watching out for me, always checking on me. So I appreciate y'all. All my friends, me and my family have started to talk more often, which is nice. Hoping to see them soon. I haven't really seen too much of my family in a while. So hopefully to see them soon. So New Year's coming in, and I'm just kind of excited about that. We'll talk about some New Year's stuff on Friday when I do my episode on Friday because it'll be my last episode of the year. Um, but um, but yeah, man. I like I said, I've been enjoying doing these podcasts. You guys, it seemed like it's been getting good feedback from people, and I joke with my friends all the time. I always be like, I'll say something off the wall or out of the box, and I'll be like, yeah, you guys just allow me to be me. Thank you for allowing me to be me, and I genuinely mean that, and that goes for everybody I come in touch with. Got a lot of people who just think they just let me be me, man. Got to play with some old friends yesterday, which was really nice. Hadn't played with them in a while, played games with them, so it was nice to kind of talk to them, play games with them. But but yeah, man, that's gonna pretty much wrap it up on this hump day. It's literally noon right now as I'm looking at my clock. But I'm gonna do my episode Friday. I think I'm gonna stick with Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. I might try to do like a time slot kind of situation. I literally just wake up and just feel like talking, so I'll just get up and record one of these podcasts. But man, I gotta say it again. Like you guys have been so good with the feedback. It's been nice. To just be able to express myself and just let me be me. Just let me be me. But I love you guys. Remember to follow me on social, Big Mama Stuff everywhere. Twitch, come to the Twitch, man. The Twitch be popping. Come to the Twitch. The TikTok is Big Mama Stuff underscore. Twitter, Big Mama Stuff or X. Instagram, Big Mama Stuff. Everything with Big Mama Stuff at is probably me. Remember, you spell it with two G's. You spell it with two G's. You know, you don't spell it right, it's gonna be problems. Nah, but go follow me on all the socials. I've been trying to post a little bit more content. My friends have been getting on me. Yeah, Chipmunk and Tabby, I'm talking about y'all. They've been getting on me for trying to post content, and I appreciate them. It's been a nice little motivational little kick in the butt. But I do appreciate you guys. I'll see you guys Friday. I love your faces. Stay beautiful. See you in the next one. Remember to drink your water, check on the homie, and remember you're loved. Peace.